Hey footy fans, welcome back to Footy Fin for some more footy fun and looking at the NRL now with just one round to go before the finals. Things are really hotting up, particularly for some teams, and there are still 10 teams in the race to make the top 8 and the finals. A couple of upsets over the weekend just gone. I want to run over a few things, look at a few teams' chances, look at some key matchups, etc, etc. Yeah, now please let me know what you all think. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, who's going to make it, who's going to miss out, who's going to rest players, etc, etc. But anyway, yeah, a couple of big upsets last Thursday night sort of threw some cats among the pigeons. First of all, the Eels beat the Wars over at Auckland. Now, actually, to myself, that's not a massive surprise. If you look back at my video from last week, I think it was, around the Panthers resting players, I mentioned that the Eels could win. Sure enough, they did, but the Wars were kind of robbed at the end by a disallowed try. The less said about that, the better, but big sympathy to the Wars and their fans on that one. And then in Melbourne, the Roosters came from behind and put 40 points on the Melbourne Storm. I don't know what the hell happened there. You'd almost think it was rigged or something. But yeah, look, I just don't know what happened. But on the back of that, Canberra, the Raiders, have signed up their first minor premiership since 1990. So congrats to them. Just to put things in context, back in 1990, neither the Penrith Panthers nor the Brisbane Broncos had ever won a grand final. And Raiders coach Ricky Stewart was playing for the Raiders at halfback. Also, for the Raiders in the grand final that year that they went on to win, on the bench was none other than Craig Bellamy, Melbourne Storm coach. So there you go. Congrats to the Raiders. So they've sewn that up. As I said, there are 10 teams still alive, still in the race. The Tigers were a theoretical chance up till last week, but they lost, so they're out of the running. In addition, the top 3 have been decided now. The Raiders, the Storm and the Bulldogs, in that order at present. But the Dogs can actually leapfrog Melbourne, potentially. If Melbourne lose to the Broncos, I'll come back to that, and if the Dogs beat the Sharks, they could leapfrog Melbourne. But the big problem is the difference between the two clubs in points difference is actually 90 points difference at the moment. So, the Melbourne need to lose by at least 45 and the Dogs win by at least 45, for example. So it's highly unlikely. So pretty much the top 3 is sewn up, but there are still 3 teams in the running for 4th. And they are the Broncos on a points difference of plus 156, the Sharks on a points difference of plus 91, and the Wars on a points difference of plus 22. So any of these teams can get into the top 4, which is, gives them better running throughout the final series. They are all playing top 10 teams this weekend. So the big question here, amongst other things, if the Storm have pretty much, barring some minor miracle, got second place sewed up and a home final, will they rest players? Will they leave players at home and not make them travel up to Brisbane to face the Broncos? That is possible. That would definitely help the Broncos' chances of making the top 4. But after that capitulation of the Roosters in the second half last week, I don't think Craig Bellamy's going to be in a very charitable mood. So yeah, look, I don't know. I can't see him doing an Ivan Cleary and resting 16 players. He might leave a few at home. Now, in the battle for 8th, there's still the Roosters, my Dolphins, Fins up, and Manly. Now, if the Roosters beat South in that local derby, they sew up 8th spot. End of story. But we've seen these local derbies in the final round and in other rounds and finals in recent years, and they are pretty brutal, and anything can happen. Souths have got some players back. I think they've even got Cam Murray coming back, as well as Latrell Mitchell and others. So, you know, Souths could win that. So if the Roosters lose, then either the Dolphins or Manly can leapfrog them into 8th spot. And I'll just run over what needs to happen here. But the thing is, Manly would need to beat the Wars at Manly. That's doable. But points difference is going to hurt Manly. So the Roosters are on plus 102, the Finns are on plus 87, and Manly are on plus 20 in terms of points difference. So Manly would have to have a huge win, and or the Roosters have a huge loss for Manly to make it, and then they'd need the Finns to lose as well. So I really can't see Manly making it at the moment. So Daly Cherry Evans may well be playing his last game in the maroon and white this weekend, having debuted in 2011, the year they last won the grand final. Now the Finns, my Dolphins, Finns up in their 3rd season. All I want for Christmas is for them to make the top 8. Please. They had a few nervous moments against the Titans yesterday in the Battle of the Gateway Bridge, but they came away with it. Now the Finns need the Roosters to lose, and the Dolphins need to beat Canberra at Redcliffe, the minor premiers. I think there's only one way this can happen. Please, Mr. Ricky Stewart, do an Ivan Cleary and bring your reserve grade team to Redcliffe this weekend. Please, Ricky. Your lads have got the minor premiership sewn up. Please leave them at home. Give them a good rest. And then I'll wish them all the very best to go on and win the premiership. I'd be very happy with that, if the Finns can at least make the 8. So that's what we need. Also, if that could happen, Roosters beat lose to Souths, Dolphins beat Canberra. The points difference is only 15, so we'd only need, the Finns to win by 2 and Souths to beat the Chooks by 14. Please, Ricky, I'm begging you, bring your reserve grade team to Redcliffe this weekend. Anyway, that's it from me. Please let me know your thoughts. Who's going to make the 8? Who's going to make 4th? And who's going to finish 8th? These are the 2 burning questions. I meant to say, obviously, I'm on tour at the moment, not in my usual studio. Don't know what the audio's like here. The lighting doesn't make me look any better, sadly. But yeah, that's it. Looking forward to this weekend, round 27. Please hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for listening. I'll be hanging out around the left edge until the weekend. So, see you soon. Ciao.